Get me a coffee, or get out. Gotcha, good luck with the inventory system, by user Shelliser42. Hi gang. I'm starting to believe that the younger people are, from my POV, the more entitled some become. I dunno. I'm a retired IT guy who still kept tabs with his old workplace, simply because I really enjoyed working there and there was a solid mutual respect between the owners and the staff. So I basically told M that while I am retired I wouldn't mind lending a helping hand every once in a while should the need arise. However, don't overdo it. This year has turned into a weird year so far, but I can fully understand why they were having some issues, especially in this particular case. Anyway, I need to be a little careful with my write-up, but I also really need an outlet, so, let's see. An ancient inventory system. Wednesday evening I finally got home with enough free time to try the recently released update for GDAV, and just as I was being called in-game my real cell phone also goes off. It's my former boss who was very apologetic, but they had a major issue. One of their, more specific clients called out for help because their automated inventory system had stopped working. They could cope, it wasn't an immediate emergency, but this was still a major problem because this was costing them big money. The main issue was that this particular client was still mostly using Windows XP. And we're still using our older automated inventory system which was developed by yours truly. In Java. Using NetBeans as the main interface. For those who don't want to read too many details, skip the next part until the next header and just keep in mind that in computer terms, this was ancient history at work. My company had already moved on towards other solutions. For the geeks amongst us, NetBeans was/is, a very impressive IDE, definitely back in the days when I still used it, and NetBeans is an environment fully dedicated to Java development. The cool part was that NetBeans wasn't just an IDE, it was also a platform which you could use to build your own applications on. See, building a functional piece of software is one thing, building the interface to help the users to actually use all this, that's another thing and more than often worthy of a study in itself. Considering that our software was going to be built on Java, the choice was simple. Also considering that NetBeans was an open source project, so we were free to pick up on the code base, even for commercial usage. In the meantime the whole thing has been ported towards ASP.NET, which basically means that we have client software, developed with C#, which is in constant contact with a server component where all the actual data is stored, powered by ASP.NET. This is provided in two options. If you already have an internal Windows server which also uses the Microsoft IIS web server/platform, then our software can easily be deployed on that. However, if you don't have a Windows server or don't want to address those costs, then we also have a FreeBSD solution, powered by the Mono project. Mono is an open source project fully catered to providing ASP.NET solutions without all the added costs for a Windows server, or optional IIS license. Unrelated to the story, but I had to share, not to show off, but, even today this makes me so proud. My former bosses, the owners of the consultancy firm, were former IT heads/geeks themselves, and they realized all too well what amounts of work we'd be saving up on by using the NetBeans infrastructure. The licenses were studied, and when everything cleared and the prototype turned into a huge success, my former company made a huge donation to the NetBeans project. Made me so darn proud to be working there. These guys recognize effort, which is one of the reasons why I still kept in touch with that place. Arnhem, we have a problem. Yeah, I agree that Houston sounds much better, but it is what it is. What do you mean, pushing your luck? Winky face. Anyway, one of our oldest clients were still using Windows XP because they reasoned that, why spend so much money on upgrades when everything works just fine? Eventually my former work stopped supporting the Java version, but because everything still worked. For the non-geeks amongst us, Windows XP EOLD around 2014, see this link. And it's 2022 now at the time of writing. So the client called my former company because their main inventory server, running Windows XP, stopped working, and they were somewhat desperate because all their usual hardware providers told them, upgrade to Windows 10, but that left them with the main question, will this software still work? Just for the record, they got multiple offers to help with the transition from us in the past. Rumor has it that at one time my former bosses offered them an insane discount, equals it would have cost them money, just to make sure things went smoothly. But it still works? Nah, that's not needed. The problem at hand? That NetBeans solution is ancient. We're talking back in the days before Apache took over that project. I just googled for it, but this seems like a good source of info. And all the original developers who worked on that had long left the company. The only person they still had in their sights was me. As such, I got contacted and was asked if I would be willing to go over there and see what could be done. See, even if they did upgrade things, it still left a huge issue, extracting all the customized functionality out of the Java software and then port/rewrite that to be used with the web interface. So today, Friday, time of writing, I dress up in a suit and head over there to see what I can do to identify and maybe fix the problem. I arrive around 1300 hours, no way in heck that I am going to give up my morning sleep over this, and I am greeted by the manager. We talk a bit about the whole situation and he explains to me that the main issue is that the XP server doesn't seem capable to contact anything else on the network anymore. I get to work and see that the computer itself is still working, but it would seem that the network card has finally given out. This is a bit of an issue because modern cards don't provide Windows XP support, nor would they even fit anymore. The good part, however, is that we can still extract data from all this, and while I am looking over the small office, an idea dawns on me. Because I still had some more research and work to do, I figured I'd put in my earbuds and ask Bixby, equals Samsung's personal digital assistant on my phone, to call my office, all the while making sure that I had my phone on full display out in the open so that it would be obvious to anyone that I was on call, and not going insane talking to myself, winky face. It got even a bit funny when one of the friendly secretaries asked me if I wanted something to drink. So then I had to backswitch a bit and try not to laugh when my colleague asked me in the background to tell her that he wouldn't mind a coffee himself. My plan was simple: extract all the customized macros we had made, and then maybe we could port all that onto one of our company servers, allowing the client to use the whole platform through a web interface. The main concern would be to move the database, but we've been using PostgreSQL from the get-go, so I didn't see much issues there. Leaving only the translation of the macros and some custom Java code towards C#. Sure, this would involve costs, but maybe we could sell this idea by allowing more people to access the interface. In the current situation, this was limited, a strict client-server setup. So here I was, in front of a somewhat disassembled computer, earbuds in and talking back and forth while my phone was lying on the table next to me. Context: I am the only one wearing a suit around here, and I cannot help be certain that this is what started the whole thing. My talk with the boss had just ended and I decided I'd keep my buds in for now, also because I had a radio app still open on my phone which responded the moment I touched my right bud. Boniam. Note: I did make sure not to overdo it, it was background music at best, I could hear everything around me. The entitled CEO. Next moment someone also wearing a suit enters the room and he's immediately greeted by the manager, who also showed me around. It was also at this time when I found an USB stick which actually worked on this PC. Great! That will help to make a most recent backup, so I fire up Command exe and make sure the database is shut down. Once I'm sure, I start a copy process on the same command line environment. Then I suddenly hear it: EYU, support guy, get me a coffee. I look up and see the guy, who looked to be in his 30s, look at me with expectation. The manager, immediately seeming to realize what is going on, responds, "I'll get you a coffee right away, sir," but he's stopped. "No, I want him to do it," the guy goes. "Sorry, can't help you. I'm busy and don't work here," I respond. "What?" I said, "Get me a coffee, now," the guy retorts with an obvious smug look on his face. It was then when I knew this was not going to end well, winky face. And know what? I couldn't care less either. Not my job, why not get it yourself, I respond while also starting to round a few things up. I was definitely going to push this, but I wasn't going to blow up the whole project over it either. As I expected, I am your boss. When I say that I want you to make me a coffee, you make me a coffee, understand? The idiot even slapped the table to get his point across. Okay then, game on, you're not my boss, so get your own damn coffee, I tell him while also giving more priority to the Command exe process in order to, hopefully, speed up the copy process a bit. The guy obviously did not appreciate someone talking back to him like this. The manager tried to intervene, but after a bit more talking back and forth I was told, "I am the boss around here, you stupid idiot, either get me my coffee or piss off and get the F out of my company." All translated from Dutch, but the F was definitely a thing here. "Suits me just fine, can I get your signature on that?" "That you demand me to leave?" I ask while handing out my worksheet paper, and for sure, effing idiot, he tells me when signing. I immediately secured the document and packed up my stuff. "Thank you, good luck with your broken inventory system and have a great weekend," I tell him while I put on my coat. Wait, what? He goes. It's what I've been trying to explain, the manager goes, he's the contractor who is. At this time I make my way towards the elevator, was fixing our inventory system. The company told me he's the only one who still knows, the door to the office room closes and that was all I heard. I get onto the elevator and much to my surprise I'm met with a red, out of breath, CEO who is looking very apologetic as soon as I exit, edit, sorry. The moment I see him I tell him, you'll have to make a new appointment. He starts down talking the whole thing without even bothering to say the magic word. Seriously, had he apologized then and there? But nope. So I reach the exit, turn around to face him and tell him once again, sorry, this fucking idiot is going to do exactly what you wanted me to do. Not my problem that you're too stupid to make your own coffee, and with that I left. Outside I immediately called the boss who was in full support of my decision actions. I was a bit worried about that part to be honest, and he agreed, they can make a new appointment. This is going to be interesting because, the only day I can make this work is Friday next week. No way in heck that I am going to give up my weekend and I have more important stuff to do next week. Question for you lot, assuming someone is interested, this is still an ongoing situation. What would be the best way to provide updates, assuming there are some? An edit or a new post? Asked and answered, thanks you guys, a new post with reference to this one it'll be. Also important, thank you guys so much for the rewards. I really appreciate it and to be fully honest wasn't expecting that, really happy to learn that you lot enjoyed this one. We now return to our regular thank you, LOL. Thanks for reading, hope you enjoyed. Small update, due to many suggestions and popular requests this story has now also been shared on MC, though slightly edited. The update story will be an IDWITEL exclusive though, seems only fair. Thanks again for the suggestions, and all your support. No, this phone number isn't the disability office, by user **world_8311. When I moved to my first apartment, I got a landline and a new phone number. This was in 2001, in the US, so I didn't have a cell phone. I gave my new number out to those who needed it. Every day, I would come home from work to 3 to 5 messages on my voicemail from people telling their SSN, medical history, employer, address, etc. All protected information that I, as a member of the general public, would not ever need to know about someone. I called some of the people back, the ones who had left their phone number on VM, and they were very surprised to hear that the owner of the phone number was just a regular member of society. They thought they were calling a government disability office. I changed my VM message to be even clearer that it was mine and not the other place. I still was getting 2 to 3 calls like that every day. I looked up the office because I got the address of it from one of the callers that I called back. I called that office, and the receptionist was so surprised that the phone number they had at their old location was given to someone in an apartment. She promised to let everyone know, and I said I'd put their new number in my VM greeting plus give it out to those I could call back. She thanked me profusely and said, so that's why people haven't been calling back and have been saying they called with information that we didn't get. Thank you for being an honest person. Costco == Walmart, by user the 9th human. I aged to work at a Costco that was located right up the driveway from a Walmart. My shifts were late and Walmart is really the only place open after 11 p.m. Anyway, I head in wearing a collared shirt and jeans, do my shopping, and get stopped by another customer asking where the automotive section is. I point them to it but they keep asking questions and I inform them I do not work there. They insist I do. I take out my name tag and show them. They still don't get it. I explain very clearly that I work at Costco and that they are currently in Walmart. Still get a blank look. Not sure what to do, I left them there and only later began to suspect they may have been on drugs. I'm a tall boy, by user @what_if_ded. I don't know if this belongs here because they already knew I didn't work there when they approached me, but I like it when I find wholesome posts in this sub. Basically, I was in a shoe store at my local mall with my family, and I was kinda wandering off because we were there for my mom's shoes, not mine. And this woman comes up to me and says, "Hey, I know you don't work here, but could you help me grab something up high?" So, of course I say yes, and they were these cute little toddler sandals for her daughter, and her and the person she was with were super happy I could grab them for them, and I was super happy that I was tall enough to reach the highest shelf, and we all moved on with our days after a lovely interaction. Ma'am, I'm 14, by user Potatius and Carrots. This happened today. I was at the mall with my family and we went to a shoe store to get new shoes before school started. My parents head off the back of the store and tell my brother and ITK go look for shoes that we want. So my bro her, 15, and I go to a section that has the shoe brand that we like. Note here my brother and I don't look our age. He looks about 20 when he is not shaven and I look 16 on a good day. So he goes to a different part of the store and I stand there looking at shoes that I want and a woman that looks to be about 50 or so asks me where our brand so and so at me listening to music ignore her and continue looking at shoes. About a minute later I feel someone tapping on my shoulder and say I've been calling you. This store's customer service is terrible. So I take out my AirPod and say sorry ma'am what do you need? I need you to go to the back and get me this shoe. Me bewildered say ma'am I don't work here, maybe an employee can help. She interrupts and says I don't care go to the back and get me these shoes. You look like an employee so you must be one. Go get me them now. At this point she is yelling at me and my brother comes over. She says to him are you another employee who is too stupid to get me these? I say David please get mom and dad. So my brother goes and gets them. About a minute later my dad come over. My father is a large man. 6'3", 250 and lifts me for fun. I am 210 pounds. My dad comes over and says what is going on here? The lady responds this R word can't follow simple instructions and get me my shoes. I say ma'am I'm 14. When she realized what I said she turned red with anger and called me and my father a very racist word then left. Then we finished our shopping with no more problems and had a nice rest of the day.